Good morning Year 6 and welcome to Wednesday's maths video. Today we're going to continue to learn about the concept of equivalent ratios. So here's your Fluent 5. I'd like you to pause the video and have a go. Hopefully you pause the video. So the answers are 88,809, 1,020, 5,600, and then here again, third space learning have had problems with their fractions. The answer was 3/6 or simplified to 1/2. 3/6 is not equivalent to 1/3, it is equivalent to a half. And then lastly, our missing number was 596. So, we're going to go through the examples together and then you're going to have the chance to do it independently. Today we're going to look at ratio in its simplest form and equivalence, but we're not going to have pictures and diagrams this time, we're going to look at just the ratios. So if you find it really tricky, it might be worth watching yesterday's video again with all the pictures and diagrams used to explain it, and then have another go. So, if you want to find the ratio in its simplest form, you need to look for a common factor. So step 1, if we're looking for the ratio 4/6 in its simplest form, is to find the common factor of 4 and 6. So these are the terms of the ratio, 4 and 6, and we need to find the common factor of the terms of the ratio. So we know that 2 times 2 is 4, and that 2 times 3 is 6. So our common factor is 2. We then, step 2, we divide each term of the ratio by our common factor. And we're dividing because we want to make it simpler, we want to make the digits smaller. So 4 divided by 2 gives us 2, and 6 divided by 2 gives us 3. So 2 to 6 in its simplest form is 2 to 3. What is the ratio 12 to 4 in its simplest form? So now I'd like you to have a quick go yourself. Have a go at finding what the common factor would be and then what the simplified ratio would be. So hopefully you realise that our common factor is 4. So then if we divide each term of the ratio by 4, we end up with 3 to 1. So these ratios are equivalent. However, this is the ratio in its simplest form. What about this ratio then? What is the ratio 9 to 15 in its simplest form? So again, look for the common factor and then divide each term of the ratio by that common factor. So hopefully with your times table knowledge, you spotted that the common factor was 3. So if you divide each term of the ratio by 3, you end up with 3 to 5. Now we know that 3 to 5 is the ratio in its simplest form because they're both prime numbers, which means they can only be divided by 1 in themselves. They're not the same number, so we can't go any further. Now we've got a missing number. We need to find what our missing number is. Now we know that the ratios are equivalent. We know that 2 to 5 is the same as 6 to something. Now we're still going to find a common factor in order to solve this, but this time it's going to be a multiplying factor because our numbers have got bigger. Now we could then reverse it and go back the other way and divide, but we don't have those numbers. So we've got both of these and we know the number is getting bigger. So we're looking for our multiplying factor. What do you do to 2 to get to 6? So what do you need to do to 5 and what is the number? So what is the common factor? What's our multiplying factor? And therefore, what is our missing number? Have a go. So hopefully you spotted that in order to get from 2 to 6, your multiplying factor was 3, because 2 times 3 is 6. So then you have to do the same to 5, and 5 times 3 is 15, so our missing number is 15. And that tells us that the ratio 2 to 5 is the same as the ratio 6 to 15. Now, I haven't told you if it's a multiplying or dividing factor this time. It's a common factor, but we need to think about which one you would be doing. So find the missing number in these equivalent ratios. You've got 15 to 12 is the same as something to 4. Now I want you to think about what is that common factor, but also are you multiplying or dividing to find your missing number? So hopefully you worked out that it is a dividing factor and that your dividing factor is 3 because 12 divided by 3 is 4. You then obviously need to do the same over this side, and 15 divided by 3 gives us 5. So as 15 divided by 3 is 5, the ratio 15 to 12 is the same, is equivalent to the ratio 5 to 4. Again, that's the simplest form of the ratio. Because we've got a mix of odd and even numbers, we can't go any further. 5 to 4 is the simplest form. So here is your challenge. Sometimes I've given you the arrows and told you whether you're multiplying or dividing. Sometimes I've just given you the arrows, and other times I haven't actually even put it in this form for you. I've just given you the equivalent ratios and you've got to work out the missing number. So pause the video and have a go. So here are the answers. Now hopefully you spotted that 12 divided by 4 was 3, so 32 divided by 4 is 8. Then over there, hopefully you spotted that 4 times 5 was 20, so 3 times 5 is 15. Here you had to work out if you were multiplying or dividing, and it was a little bit of a trick because it's both. Because look, the arrows are pointing in a different way. You know that 7 times 3 is 21, so 12 divided by 3 gives us 4, because 4 times 3 would give us 12. So well done if you got that one right. Then, oh, we've got a missing one. I haven't put the answer in. Okay, well let's do it together. What would you do to get from 30 to 5 or from 5 to 30? Well, you would times by 6, because 5 times 6 is 30. So this number times 6 is 12, which means your missing number has to be 2. So 2 to 5 is the same as 12 to 30. Then lastly, 4 to 9 is the same as 20 to 45, because you needed to times by 5. Then 14 to 28 is the same as 1 to 2, because, well, 28 is double 14 and 14 is half of 28, so it is a 1 to 2. But also, if you divided it by 14, that is what you'd get. And 5 to 8 is the same as 45 to 72. Our multiplying number is 9. 5 times 9 is 45 and 8 times 9 is 72. So well done if you got those correct. Shall I put in the number? Save it. Okay. Oh, that was it. Well done. See you tomorrow.